But so you don't think that this will help writers?
I think it will help some writers, and I think it might cause other writers to have a nervous breakdown.
What's going to happen is you're going to write something that's like half decent. The first draft is never good. I'm going to say half decent. And then it's going to get lost. And then you're going to get stuck in this tunnel of like, oh, that thing I wrote was so great. And I could never write anything as good as that. And then you scammed yourself. Recording. Okay. In 3, 2.
Hey, welcome to Scams, Swindles, and Schemes.
A friendship thingy where we look at internet culture, everyday problems, and ideas that may be more pervasive than you thought.
And then we determine if something is
a scam,
a swindle,
or a scheme.
I'm Devin Whitlock, filling in for Tammy 2.
Seriously? And I'm Anicia Miller, filling in for blah, 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 obviously. George R.R. Martin and JSTOR. Okay, so quick legal rundown. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Everything we say is alleged and only our highly misinformed opinion.
Want free lifetime access to New York Times articles?
Yes,
Turn
please.
off your ad blocker and add Team Scams as the sole beneficiary of your will.
Sweet, sweet New York Times articles. All right, Devin, hit me with it.
So, according to Josie Duffy Rice on Twitter, she discovered the most dangerous writing app. You have to write nonstop for a certain amount of time, and if you don't type for more than 5 seconds, everything you've written disappears permanently. This scares the crap out of me. Yes, the most dangerous writing app, Squibbler, which I have not tried, but scares the crap out of me. Who are these people who keep coming up with ways to capitalize on the like writers aren't an anxious group enough? We have to
But so you don't think that this will help writers?
I think it will help some writers, and I think it might cause other writers to have a nervous breakdown.
So I feel like scam, swindle, schemes. Swindle. Scam, swindles. I feel like this is a swindle because they know that writers are an insecure, anxious bunch. So I'm sure that there will be some writers who will now set the standard to, I must write on Squibbler to prove that I can overcome my fear. And what's going to happen is you're going to write something that's like half decent. The first draft is never good. I'm going to say half decent. And then it's going to get lost. And then you're going to get stuck in this tunnel of like, oh, that thing I wrote was so great. And I could never write anything as good as that. And then you scammed yourself. So I think the company's trying to pull a swindle, but any writer who actually downloads this app is scamming themselves. And like, don't do that, baby. If you want things to disappear, you can do that yourself. That said, though, as a writer, I also tell myself when I'm working on a project and I have notes somewhere and I can't find those notes in like 10 to 20 minutes, let it go. Because oftentimes when I spend the 3 days looking for those notes, I open it and it's just like gibberish. Or like worst case, I thought I had written 5 pages of a screenplay. I opened up the folder and it was literally 2 sentences. So, swindle.
I'd be willing to go swindle, but I think they know what they're doing. Like you said, first drafts are never good, ever. And I don't think we need to be encouraging people to think that like just because you're writing a lot doesn't mean you're writing well.
Okay, yeah, you have a point. They're on the assumption that if you're writing a lot, it's whatever. I want to know, is this app free?
Okay. Well, if
Well,
it is,
now it's a
I
scam
mean,
because if it's free, that means we are the product and they're just data mining a ton of like half written work to either create some kind of writing AI bot or to sell a screenplay. All right.
yeah. Well, if it isn't free, then it's overpriced, frankly.
Moving on. We are here for our story number 2, and we have a special guest today. We have with us our good friend, Joyce Hagen McIntosh. She has a lovely podcast called Books, Bible, Beer, and Queer, which I think you two have a lot to bond over. And she believes she can talk to anyone about anything. And she's very excited to debate the new topic.
Good morning, Joyce. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So, since you can talk to anyone about anything, we would like to know your thoughts on libraries.
Any specific question regarding libraries? Because I love libraries. I love librarians. What is today's swindle, scandal, or scheme related to libraries?
So we have a Forbes op-ed that suggested that Amazon should take over public libraries.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. May I share my response to that?
Please, I mean, that's our
All
jumping off
right.
point.
No, public libraries are wonderful. Public libraries are limited public forums. What that means is that in a library, your privacy is protected. Your access to information is welcomed. Your First Amendment rights are covered at a public library. But if it were to be a private company or a privately held corporation, private businesses can choose what they want, what they own, who they serve. So a private library could say, we don't want that book. It would be like ripe for censorship opportunities. In the same way that a private baker can say, no cakes for the gays here. I just think making a public library, which is an amazing First Amendment protected institution, into a private company would be the worst scandal I could imagine.
Yeah, agreed. I love libraries. They are an undervalued, underfunded institution. I run the Chicago Public Library's Comics Book Club. We meet every third Wednesday.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, the idea of like privatizing them. I mean, it's bad enough that we're letting corporations into every single facet of every part of our lives. Then also to dictate like what we read and how to read. It's bad enough like people are starting banned book campaigns are ramping up like crazy recently, and it's only going to get worse, and it's going to get easier if we just take it out of the hands of a publicly funded public service, and just, oh well, Amazon already has the books anyway. Like, no, that's not, and that also isn't a good thing.
No, we want to keep public libraries public. We want to keep them protecting the First Amendment. If you can't tell, I happen to be a librarian.
Hey.
And you were so right. Right now, there's challenges at school districts and public libraries across the country. People are trying to squelch access to anything related to, people of color or LGBTQ content. And people need to be able to see their history. And parents, yes, parents, we have a right to help our kids decide what they will read. But I don't have a right to decide what your kid reads or Nisha's kid reads, anybody else's kid reads. So let's keep those public libraries, limited public forums.
So privatizing libraries, total scam. I think we're agreed on that. Yeah.
Yes.
And libraries, well, we have, themselves, let's say, schemes are positive. We'll say scheme.
Yes. Yes. Public library, good. Privatizing, bad.
Public libraries
Thank you so
are
much,
a scheme. Sorry. Public libraries are a scheme to give information to poor people. Dum-dum-dum.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for having me as a guest today. So I'm Joyce Hagan McIntosh. You can find me online at joycestandsup.com or my Facebook and Instagram, Joyce Stands Up, and Twitter. I run the Books, Bible, Beer, and Queer podcast. I like that title because it means it's so general. I can talk to anyone about anything. In the past, I ran the Mother Cluckers comedy troupe out of LaGrange, Illinois. We haven't gone back to in-person performances. Some of us have kids who are finally getting fully vaxxed. Maybe we'll be ready to step up to a petri dish, microphone again in the near future. Anyways, I hope that if you want to, you'll reach out to me. I also am a librarian, happen to work for a group called the Freedom to Read Foundation, doing First Amendment education, litigation, and advocacy. So reach out on that front if you need help. Libraries are not a scam.
Love it. And we love having you.
Okay, Marks, that's all we have for you today.
Please like, comment, share, and be sure to report us to the BBB and request that your public libraries host this podcast on Overdrive or whatever service they're using to distribute valuable content.
I'm Devin Whitlock on Twitter at DevinAgonistes. That's DEVINAGONISTES.
And I'm Onicia Miller, the very literate tweeter on Twitter, obviously, at ONICIA. Oh, I didn't even spell my whole handle. Devin, please. Well, now you know the level of tweets I be putting out. I'm at Onicia Miller on Twitter. All right, Devin.
Join us next week.
I don't know what we're exploring next.
Yeah, what's the as we explore more scams, swindles, and schemes. Want more hashtag scams now? Check out our previous episode on my YouTube channel.
The link is in the description box or show notes. You can find bonus contents, more episodes, multiple ways to send us your banking information and social security number at oniciamuller.com/scams.
That's scams with 3 S's.
Bye.
Bye.